Hi everyone, this is Anna Finch from Finch Press. Hope everyone's had a good day. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm actually going to share my screen so you can actually have a look at Vellum. Okay, I'm actually going to do a how-to video. Okay, so let's get started. So Vellum, when you open it up, it will look like this. The Show Vellum, if you were to click on the Show Vellum tutorial, it will actually have little videos and instructions on how to upload a manuscript, how to do and edit certain things. So it can be really, really helpful. Okay, so so that's pretty helpful, the tutorial page. The Open Help overview will take you to the Vellum website, and what it will do is that it will actually have different sections. So there'll be bits about how to format, how to edit, how to add it, how to do box sets. So it's really, really detailed. So if you do get a new piece of, if you do download this, then I highly suggest that you go through those pages. Okay, if you click on import file, you can open a Word doc, and it will allow you to import a new one. Okay, so let's go to the paperback. So I'm going to click on the paperback version of my book. So you click on it, press open selected. Okay, so it's just popped me out of screen share because it's technically a new page. Alright, so once you've uploaded your manuscript, now it won't look as organized as this. There will be chapters that aren't formatted correctly, maybe gaps in the way things are formatted, so you will have to edit it before you publish. So it's not like upload it and then everything's going to be perfect and you can export it as an ebook and everything's going to be fine and dandy. No. When you upload your manuscript, this is your final proofread draft. You upload it, you do need to put work into it. So you actually need to go through each section that appears in your manuscript and double check, one, that the headings are in the right place and that you have the right headings, because sometimes it will say chapter 1, but you had a subheading, and that subheading appears as part of the text. You can then add a subheading. It's not that hard to do it, and I'll show you how. The ornamental breaks, so the little scene breaks that you put, so the little star symbols that you put in the middle of a scene, or to show that the scene's ending, we're starting a new scene or in a different place. Sometimes when you put it in your manuscript and when you upload it, it doesn't format. So what I mean by that is, depending on the style you pick for your book, what happens is the ornamental break, so the symbol you put to show a split chapter, will change depending on the style. And if it doesn't format it correctly, and some of them may format correctly, some of them won't. And if you export that and give that to an ARC reviewer, or you upload it to Ingram Spark and you're super happy, and then maybe you get a proof copy before you enable distribution, which you should do, and you look through the proof copy and you go, oh crap. You look at it, the format's a mess. Or maybe there's pages aren't organized properly. Maybe you're missing sections, or a section's mislabeled. Maybe your copyright page goes over 2 pages because it hasn't been formatted correctly. Maybe you have a page that's labeled chapter 1 and there's nothing there, and you go to turn over and you've got the subheading that was for your chapter and then the words, okay, or the ornamental breaks are messed up. So you can't just upload and then forget about it. You actually have to do the work. You actually have to edit it in the actual document and double check it to make sure that everything's done properly. Because if it's not done properly and you upload a file that you just put into Vellum, and you upload that EPUB file or that PDF file for the print book directly into Ingram Spark, which charges you $70 or 70 Australian dollars or 50 American dollars to upload. And then if you make a mistake, you have to pay another 25 per revision. If you change the interior, so if you add an extra page or you take away a page, you've got to add a new cover. So you're going to be charged $25 for interior, $25 for the cover. So you'll end up spending $100 or more because of your mistake. So you want to avoid that. So you have to make sure that when you upload into Vellum, that Vellum has split the chapters correctly, it has put the headings in the right place, the ornamental breaks have been formatted to the style you've chosen, so you don't have one symbol for one scene, for one chapter, and a different symbol for another, because people will pick up on it. You need to make sure that everything is set out according to professional standards. Now, Vellum will, when you input your manuscript, and when it exports it, it will export it in according to publisher standards. So the title page, you have the title page, and the page behind that title page is blank. Okay, hold on. Let's see if I can pause this. Oops. So Vellum will export the file according to publisher standards based on what you've actually put into Vellum. So basically every single title page, I'll show you. So what you're seeing on the screen, every single title page, you got the image, blank page, image. Now it's formatted to standards. So the image with the image type title page, which is what you're seeing on the screen, will have a page blank behind it. When you go to the other title page, which is like the smaller title page, copyright page, the dedication page will be one page with the word on one side, blank on the other. Epigraph, same thing. Glossary, images, same thing. Prologue, when you go to the end of the prologue, the page behind the prologue, so at the end of the prologue, there'll be a blank page, and then you'll start on a new page, your next chapter. So it will format according to standards. But if you don't edit it properly, it will look like a mess. And when you format a book, it will affect page count. So if you don't edit and go through it, then what happens is you may end up with a book that's double the size and thickness than what it actually is supposed to be. So this book, because the last page of the book, because I put the icons on the print page, on the print book for my about the author page, so the logos went on the back of it. Ingram added an extra 3 physical pages to the book. They were only supposed to add 1 double-sided page so they could put their barcode on the back, but they added 3, which means the spine, the image on the spine is slightly off, slightly goes into the back cover. So that's another thing, if you don't check, it will affect it. Okay, so mine's already checked and it's been formatted and I've gone through it. It's all according to publishing standards. Okay, let's say at this point you've already gone through it. The headings have been split up correctly. The chapter breaks are split up correctly. So now you've got to add in title page. So to put in, say, an image title page like what you're seeing on the screen, you go to chapter, add element, click full-sized image. When you click that, it will open a page like this, and it'll say full page, image. This thing will say untitled. You'll have an image, click on that, and what it will do, oops, I'll see if I can cover. So once you click on that, what it will do is it will open up your Word or your desktop or wherever it is you get your images from, and you can upload an image. Same thing. Now, you can choose that the image goes on one page only. You can go across 2 pages. So if it's a map, you can put image, you can go across 2 pages. Mine's only 1. You can choose how it's going to be on the page. So this is how it's going to be printed. So if you want more in the middle, so there's more space around all the edges. If you want it so it's like right near the edge. If you want it to cover the full page. You see how the image changes with each thing I press? So with this sort of image, with the quality of this photo, I can do the first 2, but the quality is too poor for the next. So there's a size requirement for each image. When you upload it, it will tell you which one it is that fits. There is a photo editing software that you can use for free to change the size of the image. I can't remember the name of it. I think it's Photo Editor. And you just upload whatever image it is, and you can just adjust the height and width, and you can download it for free and use it. So there's that. So you've added your title page, okay, particularly this photo title page. Okay, now you have your metadata page. Okay, now this will appear like, so your metadata type title page will appear like this, and it shows you when you click on it what it looks like on the print book. You can go edit title info. It will take you to this. You can add a new subtitle. If you want to add another author or illustrator, you click on add contributor. You click on this arrow and you pick whoever it is wrote it. So if you've got a person that wrote a foreword or an introduction for you, you can write who wrote that. If there's a translator, you can write whoever. Okay, and you put that information in, it will update. You put the language that you wrote in. You can put the ISBN. Okay, if it was for an ebook, you can add the ebook cover and it will tell you what resolution size you need. Okay, so it will tell you all that. Okay, so there's that. So let's go back to title info. So once you've put all that information in, it will show up in this box, and that's the first part here. You can add your publisher name, publishing link, logo. So what happens is, in the actual ebook, when you actually click on the image of your publishing logo, if you've got the logo on this page, and you've put the link for your publishing page, it will take you straight to that page. Again, there's image size requirements, okay? And this side view, you can check on ePay, you can check on different ebook publishing formats, and you can check a print book, and it tells you the size of the print book. Okay, contents. It will automatically create a contents page for you when you upload your manuscript. It will appear in the ebook only, so you can go through it. Okay, I suggest you do go through the contents page because that will give you the biggest hint of what's actually not right with the manuscript. And you can click on each one of these and it will take you to the exact section. Okay, so once you've done title page, you looked at the contents, that works. Copyright page. Now, you put in the copyright at the copyright symbol and a fin. I put my name, 2020. The year that you put there is the year it's actually published. Okay, not the year you wrote it, the year you published it, because that's when you submit a legal deposit, in the case of Australia, to officially record you as the creator of this piece of work. It's also, in the case of America, if you're uploading or registering for copyright for legal purposes, you put the year that you did that. Now, if you're in America and you're registering for copyright, wait until you've got a completely edited manuscript. Okay? So the last version, if you've just finished proofreading, all the edits are made, you're ready to format, okay? There's not going to be changes to any grammar edit. There's not going to be changes to grammar, spelling, punctuation, not any big changes anyway. No changes to the story. Then file for copyright. If you're in the last stage and you're like ready to finish formatting and getting the cover design and stuff like that, then register for copyright. don't register it for it before, okay? Because from what I understand, it's the last version. If you register your first draft for copyright and the story changes between your first draft and your 10th draft, and it's completely if you look at the first and 10th draft, they're both completely different stories. Well, guess what? Your first draft is registered, but your 10th draft isn't. So you need to wait until you've got a finished product. You automatically have general copyright. So if someone steals your work, you already have copyright. This sort of copyright, registering for copyright or depositing a legal deposit in Australia, is for legal purposes. It's so that you have legal proof. If someone says, no, you copied my idea or you copied my work, you can turn around and say, no, I didn't. Look, I've got a record. I published on this date. I registered my copyright on this date. It's my work. It's basically to cover your backsides. Sorry for a tangent. So it shows you how it will look like on the page. So you can type it. You can type directly in this. Okay, and it will appear. Okay, it will appear directly. Okay, you can format paragraphs. You can have it centered. You can have it to the left. You can have it to the right. I preferred centered because it looks nicer. You can insert something. Insert, more like squaring. I don't want it. I didn't do that. You can keep lines on the same page. You can get rid of formatting. And so you can do that for each paragraph. Okay, you can add links if you want to put your website link, your author link, whatever you want to put on there. I put my ISBN number. I put the image for the catalogue record, this image, because I put a legal deposit with the National Library of Australia, and I can use this image for it to prove that I actually did put a record. This is basically saying I've registered for copyright. That's basically what that image is. And I put my logo. When you do this page, Vellum will automatically tick the box that says include created with Vellum. So what will happen is if you have that box ticked, you will have a little symbol for Vellum, and that's kind of a big giveaway saying that you're a self-publisher. So I unticked it. So you type in whatever copyright page is in there. If you want to add a copyright page, so if you go to add element and you put copyright, creates it for you. You don't have to write anything. It will create you a copyright page. It will say, it will create it for you completely. It will do a description for you for copyright, so you don't have to even write it. I wrote mine myself, but you don't even have to write it. And I'll put one that's actually it will actually create one for you that's grammatically correct. I got rid of that. You can add, and if you were to, I got rid of it, I added again. So this one is the same thing. I wouldn't copy a copyright description from any book. If you're going to write it yourself, write it yourself. Or you can use one that Vellum gives you. Okay, so copyright page is done. This is front matter. I put a dedication page. You guys don't have to. Dedication page. It shows you what it looks like on the print book, and I'll show you on the ebook. I just put a simple sentence. Some people put a couple of sentences. Some people put a bit of decoration on the pages. That is for more people who don't use Vellum, but format in Word or something else. So dedication page, if you want to add one, chapter, add element, click on dedication. And it will create one for you, and it will actually put a phrase. Okay. All right. Epigraph. I didn't understand what that word meant when I put it originally, but an epigraph is basically a page of quotes or a quote that represents a key idea for your novel. Now, I couldn't really decide, so I put 3, but you can put as many as you like. Now, with an epigraph, you can put quotes from a particular author, or if you were to go to add element, add epigraph, so it can add one for you. It can add one for you, and it will be formatted correctly and everything. So you can add it for you. And each time you add it, and if you wanted to add one, if you add one, if you click add epigraph. So each time you do add epigraph, you're going to get a different quote that appears in that box. Okay, I'll get rid of that. So say you've already done it, you got this page. If you want to add, so I did this myself. So if you wanted to do, where is it? So if you do a separate, okay, so you can do a text feature. You can do it to show info. You can look something up. Trying to see. So you can do something like add attribution. If you do it as a block quote, so you can format each one. Highlight, add text feature. If you want to do it as a block quote, it will create it as a block. If you want to do add attribution, this is basically where you can put the author name, the actual person who wrote it, the quote. So that's what attribution is, but it has to be as a quote. Now if I undo that. Alright, so I've finally fixed it. So you can make it a block quote. You can add attribution, which is the person who wrote it. I did mine like this because I like it like this. If you do use a quote, make sure, one, that the person or whoever you quote, you actually have to say who wrote the original quote. And generally speaking, quotes aren't copyrighted. Don't quote me, this is not legal advice. Quotes are not typically copyrighted as long as it's not from a book. So I picked quotes that fit with my actual story and the themes. So particularly the themes of freedom and fighting for freedom. So prefiero morir de pie que vivir de rodillas. I'd rather die on my feet than live on my knees, which is kind of the main core theme in the book. Kind of a bit of a giveaway. But you put whatever quotes you want if you want to add them. If you don't have to add this feature, which is the nifty thing. And you can add this after you've already imported your manuscript. So it doesn't have to actually be in your manuscript for you to do it. Okay, now I added a glossary. You don't have to. But if you do add a table, this is for non-fiction authors, if you add a table if you need to add a table or something of data or whatever into the actual thing, it can be a bit tricky. So I do suggest you read the either the tutorial or the help overview page that Vellum supplies specifically for graphs and things like that, and for tables, because I was frustrated, didn't know how to do it. So what I had to do was convert my table, which was on a separate Word document, into a PDF file, and then convert the PDF file into a JPEG or an image for both pages, and then upload the image into it full by clicking on Add Element, Full Page Image. And I had to do it like that in order to get it. Okay, you guys don't have to. So if you need to add other stuff, if you need to add other elements, so you can add a table of context, which is already on there. You can add forward, you can add intro, you can add preface, prologue. So that's front matter. So you can add, so forward, let's say you put it on there, you'll just type the title on there. If you were to go, and you can move things around, intro, preface. Okay, it will add this for you. I'm just going to remove it because I don't need it. Okay, it will add it for you. Okay, do be aware when you put the images in, what will happen is it won't print double-sided. I'll show you. It won't actually print double-sided. Same with the Epigraph and the dedication page. They're all printed single-sided. The only thing that's printed double-sided is the title page that Vellum creates with the copyright page right behind it. Any full-size images are printed single-sided. Okay? Just so you're aware. Alright, so say you want to add more your other back matter in. Add element. You can add multiple elements. You can put an epilogue, you can put an afterword, end notes, acknowledgements about the author, also by. If you click on that, and it will create book 1, book 2, book 3. And you can actually put a link. You can write it. You write book 1 is blank. So for example, if you were to do this, so you go Voiceless 1, book 1 of blank, whatever, blank universe, whatever it is you want to put on there. Okay, 1. You can add links. Select ebook platforms that will be shown in store links. Kindle, Apple, Nook, whatever. Good, done, whatever. Okay, which basically means when you click on that, so after you've done, once you've just edited the link, once you've edited the title of the link and you've once you've edited the title of the link and you're now got this, what you do is you put each ID. So you put your Amazon ASIN, you put your Apple ID books, your Nook, whatever. So what happens is, with the ebook in particular, so with the print book, it's just going to show up like this on the screen. But with the ebook, what will actually happen is when you put the Amazon ISN, Apple ID, Nook, Kobo, Google link, is that person, when they click on that link, if they're reading it, if they're reading the ebook on a Mac or an iPad, it will take them to an Apple store. If they click on it on a Kindle reader, it will take them to the Kindle store. If they're reading it on a Nook or a Kobo device or an Android device, it will take them to the store specific for that type of device or something that's their favorite store. It will automatically do it. You just put the codes in, it will take them to that store. Now, when you do put the codes in, you need to make sure that the codes actually work and that they take them to the right place. Now, you've got the links. So what happens is you can put, so you've got the links, you can put, so say the name of the series, you can put Voice Universe. Say if that was the title of my series, or Mermaid Tales. That was the title of your series, and have the books listed under, and then you can do links for each series of books. If you want to do it by category, you can put, for example, urban fantasy. And then underneath, if you've got a set of science fiction books, you can put science fiction. So you can do all that. Okay. If you've exported the file and you're on Draft to Digital can add a also by page for you, and it will update automatically whatever page, whatever platform it's sent to. Every time you add a new book under that pen name, it will add that book to the list. You just can't format it though. So you've got that also about the author. If you click on blurbs, okay, it's not a blurb like the blurb as in the back of the book, it's the page for reviews. Some books have a page where it's just reviews and quotes from ARC reviewers, editorial reviewers, official critiques, okay? And it gives you an example of how it will be set out, and it has short quotes and things like that. So it will be reviews. So you can change the title and just put reviews, because that's what they are. Or you can put praise or whatever you want. So you can add all that back matter. Okay. So if I've kind of gone over each of the back matters. When you are in a particular thing, if you're in a section of writing, so if we'll do it on here, you can go onto text, add feature, and if you wanted to, you could add subheading and image and alignment block. If you see you have to highlight a particular thing, I'm just going to show first page of my book for this. This, I do have a sample on Apple that you can view. So I'm not worried about that. Okay, so now for style. Now, before I go into that, if you click on that little like gear type thing, you can also add elements from there. You know, multiple elements. You can create a part, or if you want to create volumes. So if you want to create a box set with like 5 books in one, you can create volumes. So you can have the file or the ebook, because you can copy ebooks that you already have on Vellum directly into a new file, into a new Vellum file. You can put it all under one part or one volume, and you can have separate things and all that. Okay, moving on. So we're on the prologue. Say you don't like that particular style. So what you do, once you're on that page, you click styles. So what we do is once you click styles, you click on book style. So what happens is you go through and you pick which one you like. Okay, so you look at it and it tells you the name of the particular style, and it shows you what it would look like. Okay, so this is the one I picked. So that one's pretty good. That one could be good for non-fiction. That one would be really good for non-fiction. Okay, so you pick whichever one you like. This is the one I picked. There's a whole bunch of them. They've updated this. Okay. So there's a whole bunch of them. So once you pick a style you like, you can go to heading. So you don't like the way you want to see what something different might look like. So you can change the heading, so the prologue or the chapter heading or the subheading. And you go through and it will show you what it will look like. And it shows you here for like chapter 1, it will show you the symbol underneath, whether there is a symbol. Okay. So it will show you. One thing I didn't mention, I'm sorry I'm all over the place. If you have a subheading, you can press add subtitle and just type it in directly and it will show you what it will look like. Okay, so back to this. So you've done the heading, you've done the subheading. So first paragraph. So this is that first bit. And I'm showing you this on the print one, but you can show paperback as well. The Paperwhite or the different types of devices. So first paragraph, I've set it like this, but you can change the first opening paragraph. So you can change the style. You can have no fancy uppercase letter. You can do just the first few letters in capital letters. First line, a big letter, just a bit smaller. Okay, so I went with that one. So you pick whichever one. Paragraph after break. So this is the little symbol that appears that splits the paragraph. Now I don't have it in prologue, but I have it in another chapter. So it shows you what the paragraph after that symbol will look like. So I did this, but you can go, there's slightly different shapes. So this is particularly if you don't want any caps. So I did that one. You can have first few letters in all caps, first line all caps, big massive letter straight after a scene break. This is a slightly the smaller letter, curly type letter, or nothing, which is what I had. You can go to ornamental break. So this is the little symbol. I had this one. So you can pick whichever symbol you're going to use to separate, and it shows you what it will look like. Okay. Okay. You can choose a custom image. So a little symbol for that. Same with the bit for the underneath the heading. So you, where is it? So for the heading. Okay, so for the heading, you may be also able to change the symbol that's underneath. You can add one in. So the ornamental breaks, same for that. You can add one in. If you add that, if you add your own in, make sure you own the rights for it. Any images and things you put in there, you have to own the rights for. Photograph, if you put a photo, again, you must own the rights to that photo. So if you put a photo, you can put how it looks. Is it going to have a shade in the background? Is it going to have an outline? Okay. So you pick whichever one that works. Header and footer. So this is on the print books. You're going to have page number, author, title. How it's going to be. And you pick whichever one that suits your style of books best. Okay, so I had that one, I believe. Yep. And so there's that. Body, again, print edition font. You can change the font. You can change whether you want indentation or you want spacing. Indentation is for mainly fiction books. If you're writing non-fiction, spacing works well for that. But again, indentation is more for fiction. You can justify text, which basically squares it, or not. Allow hyphenations. Yes, no. Okay. If there's a caption, you can put captions underneath the image. Change that. I don't have any. Portrait, if you've got a portrait image, you can pick how it will look. Particularly how it look regarding that. So that would be in like the author, about the author page. So with the photograph, verse is poetry. How it will look, how the shape of it would look. Block, quotation. So would your quotes look like this in a printed book? Okay. So you can choose whatever style you want. Okay. So that's pretty much it. Say you've gone through all of it. You can also do, so if you wanted to do bold for the first line, you can. You want to do italics, you can. You want to underline, you can. If you want to put small caps, you can. I didn't. Oops. You can change the font. So if you want to do a text message, you can change the font. So it looks different. So you want to change that. Okay. So you can change a whole thing. If you want to do a strike through, so say they've written a letter, right? You've got a block quotation, they've written a letter, okay, but they've made a mistake. You want to strike through something, do that, okay? You can add, say you want to add an ornamental break. It splits it. Okay, I'll undo that. Okay, say you want to add an image. Say you want to add an image. You click on that, and what it will do is it will, you can pick whatever image. So if you chose the heading that doesn't have that little squiggly thing underneath, it doesn't have an ornamental design underneath, your image could be that. You can put an image for that. You can do alignment block, which will put it in there. You can do a list. So if you're doing nonfiction and you have dot points, you can put that in. Block quotation, if you are quoting another author or quoting something from a book or another study or research, you can put that in. Verse for poetry. You can add a web link. You can do a store link. You can do an internal link, and it explains each of them. Okay, and it explains how it works, how to do it. Okay, so there's that. So you can do all that. You can add endnotes. Okay, you can do that all within the chapter. Okay, now you can save it. You can copy the format. You can change print settings. Okay, so you can view it, view different things. Okay, so let's say if you want to do print and just print. Go print settings. So this is for paperback. So you click on the option that you want, and it will tell you how many pages. It will update and tell you how many pages are in that version. If you want large print, it tells you how big it's going to look compared to the page. It tells you how many is in there. Okay, I picked that. You can adjust the font size, and it will tell you how many pages is there. There we are. You can adjust line spacing. You can have more spaces, less space. You can see in inches and centimeters. You can adjust the margin, although I don't suggest you do that because this is already set for a professionally published book. If you're happy with it, press done. All right, it applies the changes. You can change it so if you want to do quick updates, if you want to do proof. So there's a whole bunch of stuff, okay? You can do speech, so you can speak and it will type in the text. You can transform uppercase, lowercase. You can substitute things. There's a grammar checker. It's not that great, but it is for minor mistakes if you've done proper professional proofreading. If you need to find something in the book, there's that. You can do dictation. You can add emojis and symbols. So if you've got text messages in the book, that works. You can revert to whatever the file was like before. You can share it if you want to different things. Now, say you've put everything in, you're absolutely happy, it's ready to go, you want to get it uploaded. Now, there's a button here that says generate. Now, if you haven't paid for the license, it will say purchase. So you click on this thing. If it says purchase, it means you haven't got the license. You have to buy the license, pay for it, then you can generate books. But I've already paid for the license, so I click on generate books, and it tells me what format is it creating it for. Is it creating it for Apple? Is it creating it for Nook? So if you want, you can tick all of them. If you just want a generic EPUB, you can. If you want to do Kindle, you can. If you just want to do print, you can. Okay, you pick whichever one it is. I'm not generating, so you do that. Click generate, it will open up into the file, and I'll see if I can, you click on that, it will open up in a new file, and into a folder. Every time you generate the file, it will replace the old one. That's why I'm not pressing generate. So that's basically how you use Vellum. This is a really detailed version on how to do it. I did it using this, so you had an idea of how it works. I'm going to cancel sharing screen. Okay. So this is basically how it works. So I went really detailed so that you had a look at how it would look like. Now, the book itself, when printed using Vellum, it's not fancy. So the actual interior is not that fancy, but it looks nice when set out. So when you put all the front and back matter in, and when you put your book, when you put all the chapters in, and you flick through it, the actual style of the headings and that don't jump out as much. They're not fancy, like, for example, The Deathless Girls, which has like really fancy art above the character, above the chapter title and things like that. Or so it's not fancy. Okay, it's not super special and wow, the style of the headings and all that, but it's functional, and the interior when it's done looks professional, and you can't really distinguish the interior from a professionally published or traditionally published book, or something that's formatted by a professional. You can't really distinguish the interior from something like that. It doesn't look fancy, it doesn't jump out or look like really amazing, but it looks nice, it's clear, it's easy to read, and it looks professional. Using Vellum for this, and this is kind of my own, an extra little bit of review, it actually looks more professional. It also stops extra pages being put in, which can be a risk if you format using Microsoft Word. You may end up getting a couple of extra pages, and because Microsoft Word is a bit more fiddly when it comes to line spacing, margins, and all that sort of stuff, you could do one small mistake in a Microsoft Word format when you're doing a formatting for a book could mean you pay more in print costs, because print cost is decided by the physical size of the book when it comes to like the dimensions, so width, height. This is a 5.5 by an 8.5, so 8.5 inches by 5.5 inches. So the print cost is decided by width, height. Okay, it's also decided by page count. Printing costs for this particular book, for this size, for 320 pages, is about $5 US for printing. In Australian dollars, it's $9. It costs about $9 to print. Australian, and that's for standard printing. So print costs, if you don't format it correctly, you could end up with a book that's double the size than it's supposed to be. So using Vellum, if you choose to use it, can help with getting a professionally formatted book that actually can actually save you money in print costs. And it also means that you can make changes yourself. If you notice an error, you can make a quick change, send it back to the distributor. You don't have to wait to send it to the person to send a new Microsoft document or the file that's already been formatted back to the formatter and edited it. So there's that. Okay, so hope you guys found, so that's pretty much it. Hope you guys found this helpful. And if you guys want me to do more videos like this, or more videos where I go deep into like how to actually use certain programs and software, let me know. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Sorry. And I'll see you guys next time.